Yes. How may I help you?
I'm so sorry to bother you at this hour, but my car just broke down. May I please use your telephone to call for help?
Yes, come on in. Let me turn on the lights for you.
We're bleeding diesel. I've cut the non-essential breakers. The line is open. I will go get some coffee for you.
I truly appreciate your help. Listen, I'm gonna need some help. My car stalled out on me. I'm at the Blackwood mansion at the Peak. I don't think I'm getting out of here anytime soon, but be quick, okay? I'm not sure if I'll be able to reach the lodge in time. Call the lodge and let them know. Okay, I will be waiting.
Who? Who are you?
I'm a businessman from Seattle. I own a resort up in the Cascades. I was heading to the lodge on urgent business when my car just gave out. I saw your lights.
And do you have a name, Mr. Businessman from Seattle?
My apologies. Julian Vance, the older gentleman kindly let me in.
Oh, yeah. It's been doing this all night long. So I see you two met.
Yes, we did. Where have you been?
I was just making some coffee for the gentleman. Would you like some, Mrs. Blackwood?
I suspect it's going to be a long night tonight.
Actually, I think I will have some coffee. Even I couldn't sleep very well tonight.
That wasn't a thunderstorm. That sounded like Arthur's shotgun. The sound came from upstairs. Arthur's bedroom. I heard the screams coming from Arthur's room. Can someone tell me what is going on in here?
Arthur! What the hell was that? Did he hurt somebody?
No! 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 Help!
Paul, I want you to take pictures from all different angles. Don't miss anything. Christina, Make sure forensics get these samples tonight. Don't lose that bullet casing. It's the linchpin. The rain has likely washed away most of the evidence. But the dead still speak the truth.
My name is Elena. I was Arthur's wife.
I know this is a terrible time, but your husband just died. And we need to start the investigation right now. So I need to talk to everyone. Who else is here?
My name is Thomas Sterling. I have served this family for over 30 years. Arthur.
I am Daniel. I am his son.
I am Clara Whitmore. I am Arthur's niece. Margaret, I was his nurse. I just remembered. Arthur's friend, Victor. He is here too. He is sleeping in the guest bedroom.
Who is knocking at this hour?
All right, Mrs. Blackwood. I need you to walk me through everything that happened tonight, from the very beginning. So to summarize, everything was perfectly fine until a stranger walks into your house. And then your husband ends up dead within 30 minutes.
Please.
Help me understand. What was a normal day like with Arthur?
He was exacting. Every hour, every penny, every conversation's measured.
And just like that, years of suffocating silence poured out.
If I left the grounds, I had to bring back receipts. Not for the money, but for the time stamps. He just couldn't stand the thought of me having a single moment that didn't belong to him. He loved to hunt. We could afford a dozen servants, but we only kept the one butler for everything. Whenever he went out to the woods, he made me push his heavy chair.
She didn't stop. She just kept going, exposing every draconian detail of Arthur's controlling nature.
A vinyl record got a tiny scratch once.
Hold on. This one's different.
He didn't just yell, he took it
Elena,
and snapped it in half right in front of me.
you scratched it.
If he wasn't hunting, he was locked in the music room. We barely mattered to him. He controlled every aspect of my life. I was a prisoner in my own house.
You're a very young woman, Elena. And Arthur was from a different generation. Was that ever an issue?
I am his third wife. His first, they say she lost her mind before she took her own life. Daniel is hers. Or maybe Arthur broke her. I came from a small village out western Washington. His second wife actually hired me, just a caretaker to assist the butler.
I thought I saw a frustrated man trapped in his wheelchair. I foolishly believed I understood his mind better than the others. But the moment we married, everything changed. Or maybe I just completely failed to see the monster.
So, you were just driving to the Cascades, in the middle of a washed out. Why, may I ask, Mr. Vance?
The storm completely fried the main boiler system at my resort. I currently have over 20 wealthy guests freezing in the dark. The emergency union repair crew is en route. But they demand my physical signature and a certified check before they touch the heavy machinery. I must be there by daybreak.
You are free to leave, Mr. Vance. However, we need to conduct a brief physical search before you go. You can cooperate with my officers right now, or you can sit down and wait until morning for a judge to sign a warrant.
Fine. Do it. Do it. But make it quick. I need to hit the road.
Ma'am, I only found this lighter. There is nothing else on this man.
You can leave the house, Mr. Vance, but do not leave the country. We will be calling you again.
I will take your leave. I had called for help, and my ride is here. I appreciate your time, Detective.
I can do this the hard way. Let my team piece your exact movements together through the financial ledgers. And when I find the anomalies, the window for you to protect yourself closes completely. You can save us both a lot of time. If it comes from you right now, I will make sure the DA sees the context, not just the ledger. Tell me, what did he do to you?
For conversations like this, I think we should sit down. When I was 22, he sent me to Orcas Island.
Officially, he sent me there to clean up a legal dispute.
There's been a situation at the Orcas property. A contractor was injured during the marina expansion project. Now the investors are tearing at each other like starving animals.
Daniel has developed a remarkable talent for disappearing into casinos and liquor whenever responsibility appears. I require someone capable of stabilizing the situation
before it becomes expensive.
There were investor problems, licensing issues, liability exposure after some construction accident. Arthur always gave me the things that made everyone else panic, but I managed the fallout before it ever reached the mainland.
It's taken care of. Orcas is stable again.
I knew I could trust you.
That night, I genuinely thought I'd done something important. For the first time in years, I thought I was finally becoming someone he could trust.
I met a man who spoke like a lawyer and poured drinks like a friend. I remember the first sip. I don't remember the next 12 hours.
Daniel was the blood hair, but Arthur knew he was a coward. That night, I was celebrating. I thought I had finally won the Empire.
Wait.
I felt completely untouched.
This is it. I didn't just sign a ledger, Detective. In that suite, completely out of my mind, I signed off on offshore transfers and took out a massive fraudulent loan against the estate. I woke up a felon and I didn't even remember doing it. Then the calls started. He said if the documents surfaced, it would look like I was embezzling millions to cover up the accident at the resort.
So you paid him?
For years.
How much?
I stopped counting after 300,000.
And Arthur never noticed.
That's the funny part.
A few days ago, I found the numbers in Arthur's account book. The money never left him.
So Arthur was behind it.
He hired the man. The whole resort trip, that was him too. I thought I was losing my mind for years. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Why?
Because Daniel was weak. He thought I might survive him. He wanted to know what I'd do under pressure.
And what was the correct answer?
He wanted me to tell him the truth. Immediately, without hesitation. Instead, I panicked. That's how he knew I'd never become him.
This conversation isn't over. We will meet again, soon. You don't seem very shaken by any of this.
You can only stay frightened of someone for so many years.
What was he like when nobody else was around?
Demanding.
Then cruel. Then bored. Bored of what?
Being sick. Being trapped in that room. Eventually, he started treating people like interruptions.
What exactly was wrong with him?
It was about 20 years ago. He was a hunter.
After the accident, he still needed something to chase. About 5 years later, the lung cancer started. Some doctors blame Vietnam for it.
The cancer spread about a year ago. That's when the cruelty really started getting worse.
What did you do? I can't breathe!
Arthur, it's still on. Take slow, deep breaths. Slow down. Some nights he'd call for me every 20 minutes. Pain medication, oxygen, water. Half the time, he didn't even want anything. He just wanted to know I'd come. Your medications do. It should help you feel better.
My chest hurts. Where the hell were you? You don't even care if I'm in pain anymore.
Okay. This should act fast.
The doctor said the cancer was moving fast. He told us Arthur probably wouldn't survive another 3 months.
Arthur, this was your scan 2 months ago, and this is where things are now.
I'm very concerned about how fast things are moving. I think it would be wise to start taking care of any unfinished business soon.
That was about 7 months ago. And he still looked almost exactly the same back then.
Did you handle all of his medications yourself?
That's my job.
I wonder if people ever get tired of this job.
I have been doing hospice work for years.
It can be emotionally draining.
I've been around dying people most of my adult life, professionally and personally. My sister's been fighting ovarian cancer for 3. You learn how to keep going.
I think people break.
No, Detective. People adapt.
You aren't family, Mr. Hale. May I ask, what are you doing here? Most advisors don't spend the night.
Arthur became increasingly concerned with discrepancies.
You mean financial?
He recently initiated a full internal review of the estate. With the storm interfering with the phone lines, he insisted I remain on site.
What exactly was he reviewing?
Property holdings, liability exposure, internal account reconciliation.
And did he find anything?
Arthur suspected several accounts required clarification.
Clarification from who?
Several transfers moved through subsidiary accounts Arthur didn't recognize. He believed someone inside the estate was moving money through shell holdings.
Did he suspect anyone in particular?
Everyone became a possibility.
Who handled Arthur's will?
Arthur retained outside estate counsel,
I need the name.
Martin Feld. He handled probate instruments, trust amendments, codicils. Feld lives on Bainbridge Island. The storm's already taken half the lines in the state. I am not sure if he can be reached at this hour.
Did Arthur make any recent changes to the estate?
Arthur revised documents constantly.
All right, Mr. Hale. You may return to your room and get some rest if you'd like, but do not leave the mansion.
Good night, Detective.
How about a coffee time in this cold winter night?
How do you take your coffee, Detective?
Black, please. Thank you.
Here you go, Detective.
The coffee took exactly 7 minutes to brew, from the start of the machine to my cup. Is this how long it took you to brew some coffee for Julian, too, earlier tonight?
Forgive me, Detective. At my age, keeping track of the passage of minutes becomes difficult.
Certainly. It is quiet in here, but sound carries down these open halls. Shall we find somewhere a bit more private?
Mind the draft, Detective. This house has never been good at keeping out the cold. Or the scavengers.
Scavengers? That's a harsh word for a grieving family.
Grief requires love, Detective. What you have sitting in your living room isn't grief.
And what do you feel, Thomas?
Relief. When you spend years guarding the gates, the hardest part is waiting for them to finally break. They broke tonight, Detective. The waiting is over.
You walk these halls and see the victims of a tyrant, Detective. I see a quarantine.
Mr. Blackwood did not control this family out of malice. He controlled them because, without his boot on their necks, they would consume themselves.
Daniel presents a very polished exterior, but his foundation is entirely hollowed out.
Victor's hands are perpetually reaching into pockets that do not belong to him. And Clara is practically vibrating with terror at her own shadow.
Mr. Blackwood was a wolf protecting the territory, and a wolf understands exactly what must be done.
Don't speak to me in riddles, Thomas. You want to call them parasites. Fine. But I work in facts. What specifically is hollowed out? Whose pockets is Victor reaching into?
I am merely the butler, Detective. I only observe what is left behind. If you are looking for facts, you might review the alarming amount of red ink in Daniel's private mail.
Or perhaps ask Victor why his shoes smelled strongly of basement diesel hours before the storm hit.
After that, I suggest you locate the missing heavy wire snips from the utility room. And perhaps review all the morphine logs.
You just handed me 4 motives with a bow on top. Why?
Because the house needs to be cleaned, Detective.
For the record, I was in my room.
Doing what?
I was on the phone.
Making calls? At this hour?
I am a man of commerce, Detective. The markets do not sleep simply because it is raining.
I'm sure we can pull those records.
I was on an operator-assisted multi-center conference call. We bridged markets in Tokyo, London, and New York. And by the way, the connection was recorded. It was active from 9:45 until 10:45.
I didn't ask if the connection was active. I'm asking if you stayed on it.
I stayed on the line until around 10:15. That is when I heard the screams echoing down the main hall.
But a multi-city conference call, that is a lot of voices, Daniel. Lots of people talking over each other. It would be incredibly easy to simply set the receiver down on your desk, slip down the hall, and return 10 or 15 minutes later.
I didn't push him, Detective. But I won't sit here and pretend I'm mourning. You want to know who Arthur Blackwood really was?
I am listening.
Arthur didn't love people. He loved machines. Predictable, obedient machines. He had a huge collection of cars. But he cared more about that vintage flying goddess in the garage than his own flesh and blood.
He preferred the predictable company of cold machines. I preferred the warmth of neon lights, crowded bars, and women who never asked about my last name.
I asked to borrow the flying goddess once. Just one night to impress a girl. He looked at me like I had asked to dismantle it. Said I didn't know how to respect a masterpiece. And once when I was 22, I got in over my head at a casino in Tahoe.
Boss, you need to take a look at this.
He's not gambling, sir. He's bleeding. The chips just counted. He is Blackwood's son. Grab him.
Look, man, I will pay you guys back. Trust me.
Two very large, very quiet men told me I wasn't leaving until the marker was paid. They let me use their rotary phone to make one call. I called my father.
Dad, I'm stuck. I need $10,000 in cash tonight. My legacy is not a charity fund to subsidize your pathetic, trivial blunders. You gotta help me. You cannot do that to me. Once the line went dead, the guards went to work. I sat in that security office for 14 hours, staring at a buzzing fluorescent light, terrified to even close my eyes, until a friend finally drove up to bail me out.
That's a harsh way to enforce financial discipline.
Arthur didn't want to teach me a lesson. He wanted me humiliated. He fed on it.
Your accounts are drowning in red ink. Massive leveraged shorts on the Nikkei index. Your 9:45 phone call was a margin call. You are completely bankrupt, Daniel.
I moved capital. I engaged with the modern machine of global finance. It was a calculated risk that the market temporarily misunderstood.
He had the capital to erase your Tokyo debts with a single signature, but he let you drown instead. He dismantled his wives the exact same way, didn't he? Tell me about them.
My mother was his first wife. Her name was Maria. Then came Barbara. That wasn't a marriage, it was a corporate merger. She stayed exactly 5 years, triggered the payout clause in her prenup, and walked away with a portfolio of offshore accounts. Arthur actually respected her. She was a machine operating perfectly to spec. And now we have Elena, my so-called stepmother. She's 3 years younger than me.
She thought she was marrying a blank check, but she didn't go over the fine prints.
Tell me about your mom.
Her name was Maria. She married him when she was incredibly young, and she was radiant, always smiling.
My earliest memories are just her. As I got older, no matter how cold that house became, she was my safe harbor, at least for a little while. The only thing she loved more than me was that grand piano. She would play day and night. It was her armor, The only way she could drown out the coldness Arthur brought into that house. We came back from a walk one afternoon and the parlor was just empty. Arthur said he needed the space for guests. Claimed her playing was too disturbing. He had it dragged down into that damp, freezing basement and just left it there to rot.
Arthur didn't stop with the piano. A month later, he packed my bags and sent me away to a boarding school. The two things she loved most, gone.
She just started wandering those long, drafty hallways at night, completely hollowed out. A ghost haunting her own life. They put her on pills, heavy ones. She lost interest in everything. And then, one morning, the house was entirely silent. They found her in the bathtub.
I am the resurrection and the life. Earth to earth, ashes
When
to
they told me
ashes,
I didn't cry,
dust to dust.
even now, I wonder about that. Was I just numb? Or was I actually happy for her? Arthur couldn't reach her anymore. She was finally free.
Detective, you are looking for a murderer. But whoever killed him is a savior.
The murderer of a murderer is still a murderer. Putting down a monster doesn't make you a savior, Daniel. It just makes you the executioner. Your mom died on October 11. How ironic is that? Today also happens to be October 11. Connect me to Martin Feld on Bainbridge Island. I understand the lines are down, but keep trying and call me back at the station. This is Detective Quinn. Call me as soon as you are able to get hold of Martin Feld. Were you able to collect the background files I requested on everyone? Yes, as I had mentioned before, I want financial records, prior arrests, civil litigation, employment history, everything. Keep digging. I am on my way to the station, and keep everyone ready for debriefing. I have several important leads to follow. Morning, gentlemen. Everybody in my office in 5 minutes. We're doing a full debrief. Let's review everything we know so far about this case. People think murder is complicated. It rarely is. Strip away the details, and you are always left with one of three things. Greed. Somebody wanted what Arthur had. Money, property, power, and the freedom that comes with all three. Emotion. Someone deeply felt something Arthur caused. Betrayal, humiliation, rage that had nowhere left to go. Or self-preservation. Somebody needed Arthur gone before he could destroy everything they had left. You know what's the funny thing about this case? Almost everybody in that house qualifies under all three. Arthur Blackwood, patriarch, terminally ill, paralyzed from the waist down. By every account in this house, he ruled his family through fear and money in equal measure. Somebody in that mansion decided the clock wasn't moving fast enough. His wife, Elena. Years in a marriage she describes as suffocating. She was downstairs with Vance and Sterling at the time of the gunshot. Airtight alibi, on paper. I still need to sit down with the estate lawyer, Martin Felds, and understand exactly what Arthur's will says, and who stands to inherit. But here is the question that keeps coming back to me. Arthur was already dying. A matter of months, perhaps less. So if she did it, why now? Either she had a reason we haven't found yet, or someone else made the decision for her. Pull her entire background. I want maiden names, old addresses, and every analog phone record tied to her for the last 6 months. Let's see who she knew before Arthur trapped her in this house. Which brings us to Julian Vance, claims he was a stranded motorist. Arrived at the door at 10 p.m. in the middle of a violent storm. Convenient story. Either this man has the worst luck in Washington state, or somebody knew exactly when to show up.
Quinn, conference room, now.
Blackwood's death hit the morning wires an hour ago. Seattle stations picked it up first. Now Portland's running with it. Mayor's office already called twice.
Do you think it's his wife, niece, or his son?
Neither. Or maybe all of them. Take the son, Daniel Blackwood, polished, intelligent, and the only person in that house who made absolutely certain he was on an international phone call at the exact moment Arthur died. But again, Arthur was already dying, so property alone doesn't explain the urgency, unless Daniel was under immense financial pressure. What does give me pause is this. The date of Arthur's death is the same date Daniel's mother died. Same day. I don't know yet if that is a coincidence or a calendar. But grief does things to people that logic cannot always predict. Sometimes the most carefully constructed alibi is not about hiding guilt. It is about surviving an emotional breaking point with your hands clean. John, pull the records on Daniel's Tokyo call. They don't open for another 12 hours, so get the transatlantic logs tonight. If they were squeezing him for cash, that's not an alibi. That's a motive.
Okay, so what about his niece?
Clara Blackwood ran his administrative properties for years. She told me about the blackmail, a forged document, years of extortion payments, living in terror. Is the part that changes everything. She recently discovered Arthur engineered the entire scheme himself. He built her trauma from the ground up.
Quinn, this doesn't track. She endured years of extortion. Why risk murder now when the old man is already dying? Find another angle.
A woman who discovers that the person she feared most also invented that fear. That is not grief sitting behind her eyes. That is something far more dangerous.
What about the nurse? Hospice work burns them out. Eventually, they stop seeing patients and just start seeing problems to solve.
Margaret Reeves. She answered every question without flinching once. No emotion, no hesitation. It makes you wonder, can a person be so systematically worn down by one patient that the line between professional duty and something darker simply dissolves? Christina, I want a rush on the top screen. And every vial of morphine in that house counted.
Okay, so what about that old butler? The man sweeps the floors but hands you the dirt. That's too clean, Quinn. What is he selling?
Yes, he handed me everyone else on a silver platter. Let's pull Arthur's amended trust and see what 30 years of loyalty actually bought him. On that note, any luck getting a hold of Martin Feld on Bainbridge?
Things don't look good. You need to watch this.
Authorities say the streets on Bainbridge Island have been flooded since last night. The last footage received from the island came several hours ago last night. Since then, all contact with our local news crew has been lost. Emergency officials report that multiple communication lines remain completely down.
All right. Can somebody get me an espresso, please?
Ma'am, there's this new coffee place just outside Riverside. Fresh mountain air this early clears the static out of your head. Might help before we head back to Blackwood.
So, you're the new intern.
Yes, ma'am. Ethan Cole.
The coffee place is right up there.
What do you think exactly happened?
The official narrative is a violent struggle, ending with him being forced out the window.
But what about the gunshots?
The official line is that he fired at his attacker while falling. We will see if the physical evidence agrees with the paperwork. All right, time to head back to Blackwood Manor.
Makes you feel lucky living up here. Folks on Bainbridge didn't get off this easy.
Keep your eyes open and leave your assumptions at the door.
You possess a formidable memory, Detective. The estate is yours to survey. Summon me when you require the facts.
Huge mansion, but only one way in. 3 witnesses, 1 room. Everybody downstairs heard the gunshot. Nobody claims they moved.
Arthur slept alone. Everybody else was across the landing.
It's 34 inches, Detective.
The bedroom was just the finale, but the stage was built in the basement. The diesel. Head back upstairs to Arthur's suite. Go check the phone, Ethan. I think it's time to summon Mr. Sterling for the facts. You told me to look for the facts, Mr. Sterling. I found them.
I suspected you would.
Arthur's telephone line was cut, deliberately, from the basement, and someone drained the backup generator, the one supplying his oxygen. Why did you not inform Arthur?
A seasoned wolf does not need protection from amateur hunters, Detective. He simply decides how the hunt ends.
The hunt didn't work out very well for him. Now did it?
Detective, the lab back at the precinct just called. They finished with Arthur's wheelchair.
Took you long enough, Detective. Come take a look at the threading on this brake lock.
I can't jump off, it's moving.
Detective, ballistics also came back minutes ago. I think you'll want to see it.
So the gun was actually fired that night?
Confirmed. I swabbed the interior of the barrel. Residue deposits consistent with a single discharge. No question. This gun was fired. Arthur Blackwood's prints, clear and consistent. Nothing unusual there whatsoever.
And GSR? The gunshot residue?
Eliminated by the rain. 40 minutes of sustained heavy exposure at that intensity would destroy surface GSR completely. That part we cannot confirm either way.
So the pellets could have gone anywhere.
Indeterminative dispersal angle is the technical conclusion. At that trajectory, the spread pattern could have carried 40, 50 feet in any direction, into the tree line, the hedgerow, the surrounding garden.
What about the body itself? Defensive injuries. Bruising on the hands or forearms, consistent with being grabbed or forced out the window.
A one-story fall landing face down on concrete generates catastrophic blunt force trauma. Crushed ribs, shattered sternum, pulverized soft tissue across the entire anterior side of the body. Any defensive bruising on the hands or forearms would be completely indistinguishable from the impact trauma itself. The fall damage is too severe for a medical examiner to reliably differentiate between grab marks and contusion patterns.
And what about the shell casing?
Correct. The spent casing recovered beside the body. Firing pin impression matches this weapon conclusively. Same gun, same discharge event.
Okay, but here is what I don't understand. If somebody threw him out and he fired the gun on the way down, where did the bullet go? There is no impact point anywhere near the body.
He was falling face down, Ethan. No control. The angle of discharge would have been somewhere between diagonal and near horizontal. Not straight down, not straight up.
So everything actually checks out.
Yes. Everything checks out perfectly from my end.
Yes, almost perfectly. And perfection is the enemy of good.
County just called. The autopsy and tox screen reports are ready.
Do you think someone could have come through the window?
The bedroom was clean. No mud, no wet footprints on the floor. Someone coming through that window would have left traces, especially in a rainstorm.
We've got sabotaged wheelchair brakes, a drained generator, a cut phone line, 3 separate coordinated attacks on the same man. Why aren't we hauling them all down to the station?
The sabotage pattern, those are cowardly moves. Indirect. Someone wanted him dead without having to face him. But throwing a man out of a window, that requires proximity. confrontation, physical strength, and nerve. That is not a coward's move. Okay, Doc. So what's the verdict?
People hear one story fall and imagine a survivable fall. A broken wrist, a cracked rib, something unfortunate. But not in the case of Arthur. Complete paraplegia, dead from the waist down. Now, superficially, he hid the metastatic lung carcinoma well. He didn't carry the usual wasting you see with terminal patients, but once you open him up, the pathology tells a different story. The cancer had spread. The right film is normal, healthy lungs, mostly black. Now look at Arthur's on the left. See all those white dots scattered across the lungs? All of that is cancer. Now look at the skeletal scan. See all those white clusters in his bones? That's cancer. His bones were incredibly brittle. A stiff breeze could have shattered his ribs, let alone a one-story drop.
All right, Doctor. What did TalkScreen show?
Nothing unusual. Morphine traces consistent with his dosing. No barbiturates, no chloral hydrate, no excess alcohol, no paralytic agents.
So, what's next, Detective?
Get some sleep, Ethan. We're back at Blackwood Manor at first light. That house still has things to say. Mr. Feld, Detective Valerie Quinn, Okanogan County Sheriff. I'm calling regarding Arthur Blackwood.
Yes, Detective. I've been waiting for this call. I can confirm I represent the Blackwood estate. Beyond that, I'm limited in what I can discuss voluntarily. Arthur left sealed instructions. I'm bound not to disclose their contents without a court order.
I can get you that order.
And I will cooperate fully. As you know, ferry lanes are expected to reopen in 48 hours if the weather holds. I will come see you as soon as they do, assuming you get the court order by then.
Was Arthur Blackwood expecting me to call you?
Mr. Blackwood was a very thorough man, Detective. Have a good rest of your day.
Feld is willing to cooperate, but not without a court order.
I'll call the prosecutor. We'll get the order moving.
How long?
Longer than you want.
A judge could sign it today.
Maybe. But Feld's not a suspect with a bloody knife. He's a lawyer with privileged files. The judge may want those documents reviewed before we see them.
Then get me a chopper. Get Feld off that island and in front of a judge today.
Half my force is across the state doing rescues. I'm not pulling a helicopter to fast-track an estate file.
Blackwood was murdered.
Then build me a case with what you have.
Angelina, get me the DA's office now!
I'll start the order. You start digging.
Right away, Captain. And Detective, Mr. Vance and the Blackwood family are ready for you.
You mentioned on the phone there was some final paperwork to clear up?
Mr. Vance, your car is still being processed as part of the Blackwood investigation. We need your signature on the vehicle inspection and property release forms.
Of course. I'd like this whole unpleasant business behind me.
Detective, the mechanics are set up in the bay, just waiting on that signed release.
Does the smoke bother you, Mr. Vance?
Cheap cigarettes do. Allergies.
Yes, of course. Push the car report through. Tell them to look closely for scorch marks under the hood. Men who choke on smoke don't carry lighters by accident. Let's skip the rehearsed answers, Clara. Tell me about the basement.
I told you already. I had nothing to do with Arthur's death.
I'm not asking about his death. I'm asking about his phone. Arthur's private line, cut, from inside the house. Basement PBX cabinet, one line, one room, one man.
Anyone could have gone into that basement.
But not everyone left their blood there. Small smear on the inside lip of the PBX cabinet.
AB negative, the rarest blood type, present in less than 1% of the population, same as yours. And then there are the clippers from your room. One blade has a tiny nick. That nick left the same crescent mark on Arthur's cut wire.
That doesn't prove anything.
Your blood on the cabinet. Your blade on the copper. The physical world doesn't lie, Clara. We have enough.
Okay. You can prove that I was in the basement, but I didn't kill him.
I know you didn't, Clara. You didn't have it in you to end his life.
He used that phone like a whip, ruining lives without even leaving his bed. I just wanted the ringing to stop. I wanted one night where he called and nobody came. I cut the line. But I swear to God, I didn't touch him.
The ringing is over, Clara. He can't hurt you anymore. Let's get you a lawyer. 3 days before Arthur died, the chair was serviced. Everything was working. On the day he died, brakes were stripped. Both sides. Same angle. Same depth.
A failing brake lock is a maintenance issue, Detective. You are asking the wrong person.
This is yours, Margaret. Steel particles in the teeth. Black enamel from the brake housing. Fresh metal filing still trapped inside the brake bracket. Forensics compared the scrape pattern. Your file didn't just fit the damage. It made it.
Arthur didn't die from failed brakes, Detective.
No, he didn't. But you didn't know that when you filed those threads. Let's talk about the morphine logs, unwitnessed waste entries, early refills, and missing vials. We looked into your sister. She didn't have a doctor. She didn't have a prescription. Yet somehow, her pain was being managed. She was dying. She had no mansion, no private nurses, no bell to press when the pain came. He knew, and he was going to expose you. So you made sure he didn't survive the night.
Okay, I stole the morphine and I filed his brakes. I just wanted him to need help and not control when it came. But I didn't push him out of the window.
The night Arthur died, everyone came downstairs when I arrived. Everyone, except you.
I was asleep.
You were busy cleaning the carpet. Distinct patches of wet, scrubbed fibers trailing right into your room. And inside your room, following the exact stride of your boots.
A spilled glass of water is hardly evidence.
It wasn't water. You went to the generator shed. You drained the diesel lines. Then you came back upstairs with fuel on your shoes and tried to blot it out of your carpet before I reached your door.
Old houses have fuel.
The generator feed coupling requires a specific service wrench, not a household wrench, not a maintenance room pipe wrench. We found that tool in your room, inside your bag.
Anticipating a mechanical failure during a storm lockdown isn't a crime. It is preparation, Detective.
Preparation is tightening a valve, not loosening it to drain the diesel. You didn't prepare for a failure. You engineered one. Forensics matched the fresh marks on the coupling to the jaw pattern on the tool from your bag. Arthur's oxygen concentrator needed power. His lift needed power. His heat, his call systems, his entire room depended on that generator.
Why would I do that? He was my business partner.
Arthur had started reviewing the subsidiarities, the transfers, the shell holdings, the accounts he didn't recognize. So you tried to get ahead of him. The forensics are irrefutable. You are tied to that leak. I don't actually need a confession, Victor. Here is your choice. I can write this as generator sabotage, or I can write it as part of the full murder conspiracy. Window fall, physical setup, everything.
I had nothing to do with the window or the fall.
Then separate yourself from it.
I tried to survive him, okay? My action ended at the generator. I didn't push him out of the window.
You've been making monthly payments to an Amsterdam business account.
It's for a coffee shop, a small one. Arthur knew about it.
Did Arthur know the coffee shop was located inside a property connected to Julian Vance's Amsterdam hotel business?
Detective, here are all the phone records you asked for.
It takes a lot of foresight, Elena, to spend 20 minutes on the phone with a stranded motorist before he even leaves the city.
It was about Amsterdam. There was an urgent issue with the coffee shop.
A coffee shop in Amsterdam, inside a luxury hotel owned by Julian Vance. You spoke to him for 20 minutes the day Arthur died. So why the theatrical introduction in the foyer and pretend you've never met him?
We only ever spoke on the phone. I had no idea what he looked like.
So, your landlord breaks down near your isolated driveway in a torrential storm just hours after you spoke to him. Very same night, your husband dies. That is a staggering amount of coincidence. I highly recommend you find a lawyer who strongly believes in them.
Detective, the full car inspection report is pending, but here is the preliminary report for what you specifically asked for.
Don't move. I'll be right back.
Get eyes on Vance! Do not let him out of this building!
You can cancel your ride, Mr. Vance. Turns out, battery wires don't burn themselves. Let's skip the electrical short theory. You took a lighter to the battery casing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We also pulled the phone records. Alina called you earlier in the day Arthur died. She's in the next room, Julian. She already told us about the relationship. She's terrified of taking the fall for premeditated murder, so she's talking. If you cooperate, the DA minimizes your sentence. If you keep playing the stranded motorist, you carry the full weight of a first-degree homicide charge alone.
I didn't go there to kill anyone. Yes, she called me. She was terrified. Arthur was abusing her, tormenting her. I came to give her moral support, to get her out of there.
By faking a car breakdown in a storm.
I couldn't exactly knock on the front door of a paranoid tyrant in the middle of the night. I needed a reason to get inside the house. I had to pretend to be a stranger.
So you got inside, and you threw him out a window.
No. I swear to God, we didn't touch him. We were downstairs. Alina and I were downstairs with Sterling. We didn't push him.
Detective Quinn, you are required at the front desk immediately. Detective Quinn, to the front desk.
Mr. Martinfeld is waiting for you. Detective Quinn to the front desk.
Detective Quinn, I came as soon as the ferries resumed.
I assume my captain's court order reached you before the water did.
It did. The judge's order was extremely thorough. As I promised on the phone, I am cooperating fully. Here are Arthur Blackwood's sealed instructions.
Did you draft this? Do you know what's inside?
I only notarized the seal. Arthur was an incredibly private man. He only told me that this envelope was to be surrendered directly to the primary investigator in the event of his unnatural death.
Unnatural death. He specifically said that.
The judge has compelled its release. The seal is yours to break. Now, if you'll excuse me, Detective, I will take my leave.
Of course. Get some rest, Mr. Feld. In the event of my demise, due to suspicious circumstances, or should any investigation by law enforcement conclude that my death was a consequence of foul play, my entire estate shall be immediately liquidated. The proceeds shall be moved to an irrevocable trust, effectively severing my family's access to any and all Blackwood holdings. Let this serve as the final testament of my intent. Arthur Blackwood. We've been looking at this backwards. We thought Arthur Blackwood was the prey. The family thought they were building a trap for him. But they were just walking into this.
Detective Quinn, we weren't expecting you back so soon. I can gather the family in the sitting room.
I don't need the family, Thomas. I already know what they did. They built a trap. But Arthur didn't die in their trap. I'm not here for the parasites, Thomas. I'm here for the architect.
I'll turn the coffee machine on. Black it is. Right, Detective?
But if Arthur couldn't use his legs, how did he get up and down all these stairs?
The word is paraplegic, Angelina. And he didn't use the stairs. He had this retrofitted into the mansion. He didn't stop here. He had the walls opened up and ran a network of massive vent ducts for central heating and ventilation. Every room, every floor. But Detective, we already cleared every inch of this place on day one. What did we miss? Arthur had an obsession. High-end audio. He spent half his life in a dedicated music room. Let's see what kind of music he liked. Detective, look at the size of this equipment. Yes. And look at the size of the vents just above them.
So what does that mean?
There you are. Angelina, gloves. I want this whole deck processed by forensics before anyone touches it.
You look as though you found something troubling in the dark, Detective.
Just organizing the timeline, Thomas. I find that if you wait long enough, people always leave a piece of themselves behind.
Indeed, Detective. Though in my experience, the pieces men leave behind rarely tell the full story.
We'll see about that. Right index finger and thumb, Thomas.
Clear prints on the transport controls. Right index and thumb. It's a perfect match to Thomas Sterling.
Angelina, go pick him up.
The first tape is highly unusual. It contains exactly 10 minutes of ambient room tone, followed by a single 130 decibel acoustic spike, a gunshot.
Played at maximum amplification, it would rattle the floorboards.
You left your prints all over, Thomas. You didn't even try to wipe them.
I am an old man, Detective. My affairs are in order, and my final duty is complete.
You pushed a man you served for 40 years out of a window. Why?
I told you already. I pushed him out of the window. I have nothing more to say.
They call this murder. First degree, if the prosecutor has any imagination. Whose work was it, Thomas? I don't know what you're protecting, but I know it isn't yourself.
The court therefore finds that Thomas Sterling intentionally fabricated a gruesome homicide. By his own admission, the defendant pushed Arthur Blackwood from his bedroom window at 10:05 p.m. He then engaged a modified audio cassette, using 10 minutes of dead air to delay a pre-recorded gunshot, allowing him to walk downstairs and establish an ironclad alibi at 10:15 p.m. while the victim lay dead in the rain.
For the premeditated murder of Arthur Blackwood, I sentence you to life in a state penitentiary without the possibility of parole.
Victor Hale, the court views your actions not as a desperate plea for survival, but as calculated greed. You drained a dying man's life support to bury your own massive financial fraud.
For the charges of attempted murder, first-degree fraud, and grand larceny, I sentence you to 10 years in a federal penitentiary. You are remanded to custody. Margaret Reeves, this court has reviewed the extensive documentation of extreme psychological duress and coercion inflicted upon you by the deceased.
While the law cannot ignore your sabotage of his medical equipment, it recognizes the environment of abuse. Your nursing license is permanently revoked. For the charge of reckless endangerment, I sentence you to 6 months in a minimum security facility.
Clara Blackwood, the evidence clearly shows you were the victim of a multi-year, highly illegal extortion scheme orchestrated by the deceased himself. Your actions were born of profound terror and manipulation. For the charges of reckless endangerment and destruction of property, I sentence you to 3 years of probation. You are free to go.
The court is now adjourned.
What happens to Elena and Julian now?
The DA is officially dropping all charges against them. They're free to go.
Because the investigation concluded with an arrest for homicide, the codicil is fully active. The estate is gone, Daniel.
What? What do you mean, gone?
All physical properties, liquid assets, and subsidiary holdings are subject to immediate and mandatory liquidation.
None of this makes sense to me at all.
The proceeds have been transferred into a pre-existing irrevocable trust. Because none of you are named as beneficiaries, I am legally bound by the terms of the codicil to withhold its final destination.
I hope you're proud, Thomas. You threw him out a window and triggered the one clause that strips us of everything. The auditors are locking the doors to the mansion this afternoon.
He stripped you of everything years ago, Daniel. I merely finalized the paperwork.
I'm driving up to the house now. I'm taking my mother's piano before the bank changes the locks, and then I'm done with that place forever.
Take the piano. But perhaps you should also take something that signified Arthur the most.
I don't want any part of him in my home.
You take the piano to remember who you loved, but a man also needs to remember what he survived.
The DA called it a slam dunk. Case closed. But murder isn't a math equation. It's messy. It panics. Sterling didn't panic. He just handed me the timeline like he was reading from a script.
Quinn! Quinn! Wake up, Quinn!
You're burning yourself out on a closed file, Quinn. Go home. Get some real sleep.
A closed file doesn't mean a solved case. The physics make sense. The timeline fits. But the motive, it feels hollow. You don't throw a man out a window and then just sit quietly waiting for the cuffs. The question is, who was he shielding? A loyal soldier doesn't suddenly break rank and commit murder unless someone else gave the order. Every case leaves a footprint. Most of the time, you follow it forward. But sometimes, the truth is standing behind you, waiting for you to turn around. And when you can't find the answer, sometimes the only thing left to do is go back to where the question was asked.
Thomas, when the clock reaches 10:05, you will do exactly as instructed. Wheel me to the window.
Dispatch. Quinn, get Hale to the audio lab right now. We missed it. We processed a murder, but it was a performance. Tell them to be ready. I am coming in hot.
Detective, I amplified the silent track. They were across the room, so it's faint, but it's there. Arthur is giving the orders.
Thomas, when the clock reaches 10:05, you will do exactly as instructed. Wheel me to the window.
You left the mic hot, Thomas.
In light of the newly recovered acoustic evidence, the court recognizes the defendant acted under the explicit instruction of Arthur Blackwood. The charge of first-degree murder is vacated. However, for your physical role in his death and the elaborate cover-up that followed, I sentence you to 5 years in a state penitentiary for assisted suicide, obstruction of justice, and tampering with evidence.
Case closed. The court is now adjourned.
So, how do things change now? The premise was not false, Daniel. The codicil did not require a murder conviction. The operative language was demise due to suspicious circumstances, an investigation of foul play. Law enforcement investigated a staged crime scene. A third party physically pushed him. The triggering conditions were satisfied at the time of death. The assets were lawfully moved into an irrevocable trust.
Permanent. Meaning the door locked the second the police arrived.
The machinery moved, Clara. The truth changing months later does not unlock the trust. The Blackwood estate is gone.
Good morning, all. Watch it, watch it. Tell you what, sign today, and I'll personally make sure you get our best package. You're focusing on the cost, Bill. What I'm asking you to look at is the return.
I was so worried about going this short, but you were totally right, Clara. It just feels so much lighter now. You're a lifesaver.
The Amsterdam numbers came in. We are up from last year.
That's wonderful. But honestly, I just love how quiet it is here.
I'm so glad you guys came.
I wouldn't have missed it. It's beautiful up here, Daniel.
Thanks for having us, Daniel.
A woman actually yelled at me today because I cut her bangs a quarter of an inch too short. It was honestly the best part of my week. I hope you charged her extra for the attitude. Next time, tell her to appreciate a custom cut.
Julian mentioned an opening in the accounting department at the Seattle property, if you're interested.
Tell Julian I appreciate it, but I think I'm done with big ledgers. I like the quiet.
On a side note, if you ever find yourself in Amsterdam, the lodge is always yours, on the house.
Yeah, I remember that clearly.
I'll get it.
You've built a quiet life, Daniel. I see you both found your way out of the cold.
It's much warmer here, Thomas. We left the ghosts behind us.
The general never left a weapon unloaded. He always preferred his artillery hidden in plain sight. The general stripped you of the empire so you couldn't ruin it. He knew you were never meant for the war. So he left you the artillery, just to make sure you could afford the peace.
The 1, 2, 2, throw. I can drive them first like Detective Valerie, chopping them to right the base and the throw.
History changes hands tonight. Sir Winston Churchill's Holland and Hollandton.
Sold 3.2 million.
Words left unsaid. Sometimes the kindest thing.
Easy now, you're doing great. Almost done, brave one.
There is a mail that came for you.
Thank you, Tamba.
Try to be the flame, but fire doesn't listen. Once you know it's home.
Arthur, your blood work just came back. It doesn't look good. Without ongoing transfusions, I suspect we are looking at a couple of days.
I promise I will get you your money. It's just a matter of a couple of months.
Julian, I can't do this anymore. Can you please get me out of here?
I will not die decaying in a bed while they circle the room waiting for it. They are cowards, Thomas. Parasites and cowards. Every last one of them.
Tonight, the barometer drops and the roads flood. The parasites are all going to make their move tonight, taking Storm as their cover. Let them think they won. Thomas, we make our final move tonight.
Of all the nights for the sky to break, it happens on the anniversary of her death. The only person who was neither a coward nor a parasite. The universe has a cruel sense of humor, Thomas. But I appreciate the symmetry.